exciting, adventurous, full of mystery, and packed with educational lessons that inspire kids to love history and learning. Hey there, young explorers! Are you ready for a thrilling journey through time? Buckle up, because we're about to embark on an incredible adventure that will take us from the dusty shelves of a library to the far reaches of history. Our story begins on a seemingly ordinary day in a not-so-ordinary library. Three best friends, Abdullah, Urooba, and Rayan, were wandering through the aisles, surrounded by towering bookshelves filled with countless stories. But little did they know, they were about to stumble upon the most extraordinary book of all. As they turned a corner, something caught their eye. There, on a forgotten shelf, was an ancient-looking book that seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. Curious, they reached out to touch it, and in a flash of blinding light, they felt themselves being pulled into the pages. When the light faded, our young heroes found themselves in a place they didn't recognize. The library was gone, replaced by— Wait, was that a medieval castle? And why were people dressed so strangely? That's when it hit them. They had traveled through time. But something wasn't quite right. As they explored this new world, they noticed things were ... Important events they remembered from their history books were missing. It was as if someone had torn pages right out of history itself. Determined to figure out what was going on, Abdullah, Urooba, and Rayan set out on a quest to find these missing pages. Each page, they discovered, held a puzzle or challenge they had to solve. It was like a scavenger hunt through time. Their first stop, Renaissance Italy. There, they met the legendary Leonardo da Vinci himself. But instead of painting the Mona Lisa, he was struggling with a blank canvas. "I feel like I've forgotten something important," he told them, scratching his head. Our heroes knew they had to help him remember, or one of the world's most famous paintings would never exist. Working together, they solved a series of riddles hidden in Da Vinci's workshop. Each correct answer revealed a piece of the Mona Lisa, until finally, the full image appeared in Leonardo's mind. He exclaimed, picking up his brush with newfound inspiration. The kids cheered as they watched history unfold before their eyes. But their adventure was far from over. Next, they found themselves in ancient Persia, face to face with the brilliant physician Ibn Sina. He was supposed to be writing his groundbreaking medical encyclopedia, but instead, he was staring at empty scrolls. "I know there's something I should remember about the human body," he sighed, "but it's all a blur." Urooba, always the science whiz, stepped up to help. Together with Ibn Sina, they conducted a series of experiments, exploring the workings of the human body. With each discovery, more words appeared on the scrolls. By the end, Ibn Sina's eyes were shining with excitement as he began to write his famous canon of medicine. Their next leap through time brought them to early 20th century Paris, where they met a frustrated Marie. "I know there's something special about this element," she said, gesturing to a sample of radium, "but I can't quite put my finger on it." Rayan, who loved chemistry, eagerly joined her in the lab. They ran tests, mixed chemicals, and made observations until finally, the properties of radioactivity became clear. Marie's face lit up as she realized the importance of her discovery. But just as our young time travelers were celebrating their successes, a mysterious figure appeared before them. It was the Guardian of Time, a wise old being with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. "You have done well," the Guardian said, "but your quest is far from over. If you don't restore all of history's missing pages, the future as you know it will change forever." The kids gasped. They hadn't realized just how high the stakes were. With renewed determination, they set off again, this time racing against the clock. They traveled to ancient Egypt to help build the pyramids, to Greece to inspire Archimedes' Eureka moment, and to India to assist Aryabhata in developing the concept of zero. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. At every turn, they found themselves facing off against the shadow historian, a cunning time thief, who was trying to rewrite history for his own benefit. He left traps and false clues, trying to lead our heroes astray. But Abdullah, Urooba, and Rayan were too clever to fall for his tricks. They used their knowledge of history, science, and logic to outsmart him at every turn. In Imperial China, they had to solve a complex puzzle to help Zhang Heng invent the size. In medieval Baghdad, They raced against time to ensure Al-Khwarizmi completed his groundbreaking work on algebra. And in Renaissance Poland, they had to convince a doubtful Nicolaus Copernicus that the Earth really does revolve around the sun. With each solved puzzle and restored event, they could feel history slowly knitting itself back together. But the shadow historian wasn't giving up without a fight. In a final, desperate attempt to change the course of history, he challenged our heroes to a battle of wits in the Library of Alexandria. The air crackled with tension as Abdullah, Urooba, and Rayan faced off against the shadow historian. Ancient scrolls and star charts surrounded them as they engaged in a high-stakes game of historical trivia and problems. Questions flew back and forth, covering everything from the fall of Rome to the invention of the printing press. For a moment, it seemed like the shadow historian might win. But then, Abdullah remembered a fact about Mayan astronomy he had read just before their adventure began. Urooba recalled a detail about the Silk Road from a class project, and Rayan put it all together with a bit of quick mathematical thinking. With a triumphant shout, they solved the final puzzle, and the last missing page materialized in their hands. The shadow historian let out a cry of defeat and vanished in a puff of smoke. They had done it. History was restored. As the Library of Alexandria faded around them, our heroes found themselves back in their own library. The ancient book closed with a soft thump, and the golden glow faded. But the excitement of their adventure still buzzed in the air. Abdullah, Urooba, and Rayan looked at each other with wide grins. They had traveled through time, met some of history's greatest minds, and saved the future. But more than that, they had discovered the true power of knowledge and the importance of understanding our past. As they walked out of the library, they couldn't help but see the world differently. Every building, every invention, every idea now held a story, a connection to the grand tapestry of history they had helped to preserve. And they knew that their greatest adventures were still to come, waiting to be discovered in the pages of books and the lessons of the past. So, young explorers, the next time you open a book or step into a library, remember, you're not just reading words on a page. You're unlocking the secrets of time itself, embarking on your own adventure through history. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next one to solve a historical mystery or make a world-changing discovery. After all, every great journey begins with a single-page turn. Are you ready to start yours?